everybody, Ryan O'Halloran, Florida Times Union, along with fellow Jaguars beat reporter Hayes Carline. We start our draft position series in the pages. Let's go quarterback. Obviously not a need for the Jaguars at the top with Blake Bortles and Chad Henne. But one thing you're going to write about is when is the right time to start developing another young guy?
Yeah, this draft is pretty deep at that position, so it would be a good year for the depth to do it, but I think it's too early. You've got Chad Henne. There's no sense in taking a third guy at this point. So I think the Jaguars should wait a year. At that point, I think maybe you move on from Henne. You try and, invest in a young kid, fourth rounder, fifth rounder, that maybe you can, after a couple years of developing, turn into a second rounder in a trade, maybe even a first rounder like Rob Johnson for this franchise nearly 20 years ago. So, that's sort of what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, and I agree. I think this year probably isn't the year to do it because you just re-signed Henne. The question is, when they decide to do it, this has been a two-quarterback roster. So let's say they make a fifth-round pick on a quarterback next year, is he automatically the two when he has no experience? So I think the roster mechanics may have to change if they start doing that. But I agree we're of the belief that you should draft one every year in the late rounds because you never know when you're going to find a gem. Jaguars aren't going to be interested in a quarterback at the top of the draft, but a lot of teams are. Give me some of your rankings. Who you would take?
I would take Jared Goff first if I had the number one pick, like Los Angeles does now. But it seems like there's some reports going with him or Wentz. I like Paxton Lynch more than most. I like his athleticism, his size. I think he goes to San Francisco at 7. So I do think you'll see 3 quarterbacks in the top 7, 4 overall in the first round with Connor Cook closing it out to Denver at 31.
Look at the next wave. Christian Hackenberg, you mentioned Cook. Is there any one of these guys that you would really stay away from?
Stay away from maybe Hackenberg. Guy I love is Jacoby Brissett, the former Florida kid, goes to NC State. I think he's going to be somebody who's going to stick in this league for a long time.
Okay. So even though the Jaguars don't need a quarterback, it's an intriguing quarterback draft. For Hayes Carline, I'm Ryan O'Halloran.